Hi, my name is Gary. I am one of the instructors here at Sound Transportation School out of Tacoma, Washington. What we're going to do now is what we call an out-cab pre-trip inspection. It's part of your exam. Part of your exam is pre-trip, which is in-cab and out-cab. This portion of the test is your out-cab. They expect you to not only point and touch at the components, they expect you to describe what you're looking for when you explain the components. So it's a description and the component itself. So what we're going to do is when we step out of the truck after we've completed the air supply system in-cab inspection, we're going to step outside of the truck. We're going to start with our lenses. All of our lenses on the front of the truck here, our clearance lights, our headlights, and our turn signals are all clean, not broken, not missing, and proper color for the location. Clearance lights and turn signals are amber, and our headlights are clear. What we're also looking for is we're looking for any issues with the suspension. The truck is not leaning from side to side or front to rear. A leaning vehicle could indicate a suspension problem or low tire pressure. We're also going to check underneath to make sure there are no puddles that could indicate oil leaking, coolant leaking, or fuel, okay? We also have on the side here, we have reflectors. Reflectors, same as lights. They are clean, not broken, not missing, and proper color of amber, okay? Now we need to check the engine compartment. So we're going to open the hood and we're going to check critical fluid levels. We are going to check our coolant level. We will check the fluid here, the coolant, when the engine is cold. In this case, we have a clear reservoir. We just need to make sure it is between add and full. Then we go over to the other side. We will check our oil level. We can check our oil level to make sure it is between add and full. We can check it with the dipstick. We do not have to pull the dipstick out. We will also check our power steering fluid. This is your power steering reservoir. We will check the fluid level with the dipstick to make sure it's between add and full, okay? We will also check for fluids and air hoses to make sure that nothing is leaking. So, hoses and lines around the engine and under the engine and transmission are not leaking and are all in good condition. Now we go to our steering gearbox. Our steering gearbox is securely mounted, not leaking. All hoses and connections right here are not cracked, not worn, not frayed, and connections are tight, and again, they're not leaking. Now we check to make sure the steering system has no missing nuts, bolts, or cotter pins. Right here, same thing. No missing nuts, bolts, cotter pins. We're also going to check to make sure our arms, links, and rods from the steering gearbox to the wheel are not cracked or worn. And we're going to make sure that our joints and sockets right here and here are not worn or loose. Okay? Now we need to check the suspension components. The suspension here is made up of leaf springs. We're going to check to make sure our leaf springs are not shifted, not missing, not cracked or broken. We also have leaf spring mounts. We want to make sure the leaf spring mounts right down here are not cracked, broken, or missing any parts. Now we check our shock absorber. The shock absorber is securely mounted to the vehicle. It is not damaged or leaking. This truck has airbags, so we're going to check the air ride suspension. Same thing, it's securely mounted to the vehicle. It's not leaking and it's not damaged. Now we need to check our brake system. Brake hoses and lines can supply air to the brakes and they are not leaking. They are not cracked, frayed, or worn, and all the fittings are secure. We will check for brake contaminants on the brake drums and the brake linings, which is back here, such as oil or grease. Brake contaminants can affect braking capabilities, but also can create a fire hazard. So that's our brake system. Now we go to the tires. 4 things you want to check with the tires. We want to check the tread depth first. The minimum tread depth on the steer tires is 4/32 of an inch. On the drive tires and the trailer tire, minimum tread depth 2/32 of an inch. We're also going to check tire inflation. We check tire inflation to make sure it's the proper inflation with a tire pressure gauge. Then we want to check tire condition. We want to make sure there's no cuts, bulges, or damage that expose body plies to the sidewall or the tread. Now we look at our valve stem and cap. We want to make sure that it's not missing, broken, or damaged. Valve cap is not missing, and the valve stem is accessible. So after the tires, we go to the rim. Okay, the rim is not damaged, cracked, or bent. There are no welding repairs, and there are no rust trails that could indicate that the rim is loose. Studs are not broken, okay? There are no broken or missing nuts or bolts. There are no elongated bolt holes. The lug nuts are all present, all secure, okay? None of them are loose. And we also want to make sure, again, there's no rust trails that could indicate a loose lug nut, but also making sure there's no shiny threads on the studs. That could indicate that the lug nut was cross-thread. Now we go to the side of the vehicle. First, we're going to check the side marker light. It's clean, not broken, not missing, and proper color of amber. Now we go to our mirrors, okay? Mirrors are clean, not cracked. Mirror brackets are securely mounted to the vehicle. They're not bent, and they're not missing any parts. Now we're going to check our batteries. All batteries are secure, all connections are tight, and there is no excessive corrosion. All electrical system cables are not cracked or worn and secure. Battery box right here and the battery door right here, the door is secure. We go to the fuel tank now. The fuel tank is not leaking. It's securely mounted to the tractor frame. The cap is tight and there are no leaks from the lines or the tank itself. Okay, so now we go to the tractor frame. The tractor frame itself, there are no cracks, no holes, no broken welds or any other damage to the frame or the cross members. We talk about the drive tires real quickly. Again, minimum tread depth 2/32 of an inch on the drive tires, and we want to make sure there's no mismatched diameter tires. Now we go to our air lines and connectors and electrical connectors and electrical lines. So we want to check to make sure that our connections from the power unit to the trailer are seated and sealed, free of damage, and locked into place, okay? Locked into place. We want to make sure that our air lines and electrical lines are not cut, cracked, chafed, spliced, taped, or worn. Air lines have no air leaks, and electrical lines, there's no steel braid showing through or electrical conductor. We want to make sure that all of the lines are not tangled, crimped, or pinched, or dragging against tractor parts or the ground. We're going to check our clearance light on the trailer. This is the same as all the other lights, guys. It's clean, not broken, not missing, and proper color of amber. Now we go to the fifth wheel. The first thing we're going to do is check the visible part of the apron. That's what sits on the fifth wheel. It's not cracked, not broken, not bent, okay? Then we go to our fifth wheel skid plate. Our fifth wheel skid plate, there's no cracks, no breaks, no excessive wear. It is properly lubricated and it is securely mounted to the vehicle via the fifth wheel platform. We also have no gap. The trailer is lying flat to the fifth wheel. There's no gap between the apron and the skid plate. We have a release arm that is fully engaged and the safety latch is in place. We have our fifth wheel sliding locking pins. They are fully engaged, no damage. Now we come to the back here. We need to look into the fifth wheel gap. First we check the kingpin. You cannot see it, but for the exam we're going to say that it's in place, it's not bent, it's not worn, and it's not damaged. We want to also look into the fifth wheel gap to ensure that our locking jaws are secure around the kingpin and there is no play between the kingpin and the locking jaws. Now we're plain sailing, guys. This is the end of the pre-trip. We're going to check the landing gear. The landing gear right here is fully raised. The support frame and the landing pads are not damaged, and the crank handle is secure. We also want to ensure that the fifth wheel is positioned properly, that the landing gear clears the tractor frame while making turns. We have our trailer frame. Now this is the same as the tractor frame, guys. The trailer frame, there's no cracks, there's no holes, there's no other damage, there's no broken welds to the frame or the cross members, okay? We have reflective tape. We need to make sure that the reflective tape is present and securely affixed to the trailer on the side and the rear. So reflective tape, it's secure and affixed properly to the vehicle. Now we're going to check our tail lights, brake lights, turn signals, and identification lights. Again, it's the same thing, guys. It's clean, not broken, not missing, and proper color of red for the location. Now we step at the back of the trailer. Now you're going to take another 10 seconds. You're going to look at your checklist that the DOL provides us, and you're going to make sure that you did not miss any components and you did not miss any descriptions of components. It's your test, remember, you paid for it, you can take your time. So before you say pre-trip inspection complete, please look at your checklist. Now we go to the passenger side. The great thing about the state of Washington is we don't have to go into detail. You only have to say, I will check the passenger side of the combination vehicle the exact same way that I did the driver's side. Pre-trip inspection complete. Good luck.